ये आकाशवाणी का ईटानगर केंद्र और अरुण FM 103.1 मेगाहर्ट्ज है। प्रस्तुत है एक विशेष कार्यक्रम। इस कार्यक्रम के तहत आज हम चर्चा करेंगे बाल साहित्य के महत्व यानी इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ चिल्ड्रंस लिटरेचर के बारे में। और इसके लिए हमारे स्टूडियो में उपस्थित हैं लोहित यूथ लाइब्रेरी नेटवर्क तेजू के कोऑर्डिनेटर पद्मश्री सत्यनारायणन मुंडायूर, जिन्हें हम अंकल मुसा के नाम से जानते हैं। भाभा एटॉमिक रिसर्च सेंटर मुंबई के रिटायर्ड सीनियर साइंटिस्ट कम पब्लिशर ऑफ चिल्ड्रंस मैगजीन डिमडिमा के डॉक्टर वेणुगोपालन ए। साथ ही हैं लिटरेरी क्रिटिक श्री केपी मोहनन और शॉर्ट स्टोरी राइटर श्री केवी अष्टमूर्ति। तो बातों का सिलसिला शुरू करते हैं। चिल्ड्रन लिटरेचर की बात करते हैं तो वेणुगोपालन सर, आप क्या सोचते हैं?
ये देखिए, children's literature definitely is very important because this is one of the ways of molding our children to a better citizen or a better human being. So unless they read, unless they understand the logic of life, they will not become a better human being. And the only thing that we can provide them right now, forget about the good old days when nannies used to कहानी बताते थे ना, अपने गोद में बैठा के छोटे छोटे बच्चों को, नन्हे बच्चों को बहुत सारी कहानियां सुनाते थे जिनसे उनको लाइफ के बारे में जानकारी प्राप्त होता था। वो जमाना गया, अभी वो नैनी भी नहीं है, वही से बैठने का सुविधा भी नहीं है। सो उनके बारे में भूल जाइए। आजकल के जमाने में आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस प्रेजेंट जनरेशन, द ओनली पॉसिबिलिटी इज टू गिव देम रीडिंग मटेरियल। आई हैव सीन दिस in the European countries, though we are saying that European countries are far ahead of us and all those things, I find that each grandfather or even the father spends time with the children or grandchildren के साथ story पढ़ के बताते हैं। It was so fascinating. I was just 4 years back, I was with my good old friend, Professor Kluge. उनके घर में गया तो सारे बच्चों को लेके 1 hour you cannot question him. 9 से लेके 10 बजे तक रात को डिनर के बाद बच्चों को अपने चारों बिठा के ये कहानी पढ़ा के सुनाते हैं। ये कल्चर इस तरह हम ये सब हमने इन द नेम ऑफ डेवलपमेंट और एडवांसमेंट और व्हाटएवर वी हैव लॉस्ट दिस कल्चर। नाउ द ओनली स्कोप यू हैव इज टू गिव देम गुड मटेरियल टू रीड विच विल गिव देम एन इनसाइट टू ह्यूमन लाइफ, हाउ ए ह्यूमन हैज टू शेप हिज लाइफ। बाकी सब इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है ना। So, उसके लिए हमको जो दे सकता है वो ही है व्हाट वी कॉल चिल्ड्रंस लिटरेचर।
जैसे एज डिफरेंसेस कुछ होना चाहिए, कितना एज से कितना एज तक को हम चिल्ड्रन लिटरेचर की कैटेगरी में हम लोग ब्रैकेट करते हैं।
See, the children, once they acquire the ability to read and understand, just reading is not good enough. Reading and understanding, my experience is that happens at the age of 7 or 8. उसके पहले पढ़ते हैं लेकिन ये कॉम्प्रिहेंशन उतना होता नहीं है। बट 7 to 8 के बाद बच्चे जो स्टोरी पढ़ते हैं, जो भी वो पढ़ने की कोशिश तो करते हैं या लेकिन नहीं तो सुनते हैं, वो समझ जाते हैं। एट दैट स्टेज देयर इज, वी कैटेगराइज जनरली 7 to 10 or 11 is an age group where they are fascinated by flying elephants and all those things. But 11 के बाद उनका इमेजिनेशन का थोड़ा मेच्योरिटी आ जाता है। इन दैट सेंस व्हेन आई टॉक अबाउट मेच्योरिटी, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द मेच्योरिटी इन द रियल सेंस। बच्चों में भी मेच्योरिटी है, द डिफरेंस ऑफ कॉम्प्रिहेंशन अबाउट द वर्ल्ड अराउंड देम। सो वो 11 to 15 इज एन एज विच इज हाईली प्लायबल। आप कुछ भी दो, इफ इट इज गुड, इफ इट इज इंटरेस्टिंग, they will read and try to understand. And this is the most difficult and most interesting and most challenging phase of children's literature for us.
तो अष्टमूर्ति सर, आज देखते हैं कि पेरेंट्स की जो सिचुएशन है, जिस तरह से जैसे सर ने भी कहा था कि जिस तरह से हम मॉडर्निटी की ओर जा रहे हैं, बहुत फास्ट पेस्ड वो लाइफ हो गए, तो पेरेंट्स का रोल क्या होना चाहिए ताकि ये जो चिल्ड्रन है रियली चिल्ड्रन लिटरेचर में इंटरेस्टेड रहे?
इन आवर लैंग्वेज सो मेनी गिफ्ट वर्क्स आर कमिंग अप every year. All publishers are competing themselves to produce children books, and that is sold vehemently. They are sold because parents are always promoting these books. But I am afraid how many children are reading it, because all the authors are crazy about writing books because this is very easy to be sold. So many books are coming up, and as per my latest information, I got children's magazines. Their circulation are coming down, didn't like anything, and they are struggling to keep it up. The circulation, they are trying to keep it up, and they are trying to increase as such, but they are failing. That's a very pathetic situation as such in my language in Kerala.
So what could be the reason, particularly parents, as you said, parents, they do subscribe some magazines and children magazines, but have they stopped subscribing those magazines?
Because actually children are also are not interested in. They're actually actually they are attracted by more visual media.
Okay.
Especially after the invention of mobile phone. All the children, except, from age of 3 onwards, they are attracted to, and printed media cannot compete with this visual media so far.
हम अंकल मूसा से पूछना चाहते कि अंकल मूसा, आप खुद बैम्बूसा लाइब्रेरी भी चलाते हैं जहाँ बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स आते हैं, चिल्ड्रन भी आते हैं। सर, असली जो ग्राउंड रियलिटी क्या है?
ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट एक इश्यू है। हम सब अरुणाचल के सब लोग, पेरेंट्स, ऑफिसर्स, टीचर्स, सबको बहुत बहुत सेंसिटिव होने का एक टाइम आ गया है। जैसे अभी डॉक्टर वेणुगोपाल जी बता रहे थे, द एज ग्रुप ऑफ 10 to 15 जो मोस्ट क्रिटिकल है, मोस्ट चैलेंजिंग है। अरुणाचल में हम लोगों का सबसे बड़ा स्ट्रेंथ यही है। एंड इफ दिस एज ग्रुप पीपल कैन बी मोटिवेटेड टू रीड, then we will have a very bright future in the coming. We will have a reading society coming up. So this is a very important point here said. This is the group, not the very small ones, because they will enjoy any reading. आप अच्छा कहानी बताइए, अच्छा पोएट्री सुनाइए बच्चे को, but that will not take them far further. It is this age group of 11 to 15 who start thinking, and they think that it can change my life, or it can. So if we give the right books, they will have a very, very, very important, we will be making a very important contribution to Arunachal's programs. And touching upon what Mr. Ashtamurthy has said about children's magazine, here again our parents, Arunachal, we can do a very wonderful service, because unlike books which don't reach out remote areas, children's magazines today can reach out. By postal service in Arunachal is far, far better and reliable today than it was 30 years back. So, parents with small expenditure, we don't have to very heavy thing. Every month a new book will come to the children's home, their home. So this is one thing which we have been in Bambusa Library, we have been urging the parents, subscribe to children's magazines. That will help you much more than the tuition money you are spending on them. So I feel parents should go in a big way to subscribe to children's magazine.
पूछते हैं डॉक्टर मोहनन से, विजुअलिटी की बात करते हैं, तो सर आज कॉमिक्स की बात करें, जैसे हम टेलीविजन में जो एनिमेशन दिखाते हैं, और जब हम फॉरेन एनिमेशन की कंपैरिजन इंडियन एनिमेशन से करते हैं, तो क्या डिफरेंसेस पाते हैं?
No, when we talk about children literature, we are so far we were telling only about printed materials. There are 3 different types of children's literature possible. One is the audio materials, another one is the visual type materials, then the reading materials. So all the time we were telling about age group of 11 to 15. But before reaching that 11 to 15 group, you have to think about 3 to 5 or 6 group, then 6 to 10 that group. For this 3 to 6 that age group, even audio materials will be much better. Then from 6 to 10, visual materials will be better. From audio to visual, from visual to printed materials. So that progression can be adopted, yes. I think, in a way. The real problem here is with regard to the change of the present world. From 1990 onwards, after globalization, there is a big change in the commercial market. People say that the toy market is the most flourishing market these days. Chinese toys and other toys, When a toy comes into market, that toy when a printed material or a visual material comes up, for example, Ben 10. Ben 10 is a fairly good group, When Ben 10 comes, Ben 10 and Alien Forces. Then Ben 10 come to the market in the form of student bags, flasks, toy materials. So the whole world becomes going around Ben 10. Children, whether he is in Arunachal Pradesh or in Maharashtra or even he is in Australia or England or wherever he is, Ben 10 is the character. So, world has become in such a global world. It is very difficult to tell about the fantasies of or the imaginations and fancies of folk tales or folk culture of Arunachal or Meghalaya. No, that will be a bit difficult because people think globally these days. So there is a big identity crisis now, which faces even the parents, the children. So that is a big problem nowadays, I think. So as Dr. Venugopalan was telling, how can we commercialize our local culture? We have to commercialize it. How can the Arunachal folktales can be brought to visual forms, audio forms, and printed forms like that? Meticulously colorful, attractive. Like that we have to bring it out because it is intended for the children. So that is a very, very important issue now we have to.
जी, तो चिल्ड्रन लिटरेचर की बात करते हैं तो अमर चित्र कथा ने बहुत बड़ा रोल प्ले किया है. डॉक्टर गोपालन आपसे जानना चाहते हैं.
Gee, maybe 50 years back, when you talk about comics, there was only foreign comics available to Indians. There was nothing like, nobody had even thought about making a truly Indian comic series. There was one gentleman, Pai Uncle, who made a big difference because that is his passion. He believed that Indian mythology and Indian stories is material for beautiful comics which will be having an everlasting impression in the minds of children. So that is how he had to struggle. I will not go into the details of all that, but that man was able to develop a group around him who wrote the script, and he could even develop a lot of artists. I'm talking about the people, the comic artists, who were the real backbone of the whole business. The Ramayana, the Mahabharata, the Panchatantra, and Kathagarit Sagar. Anything you talk about in Indian mythology and Indian storytelling series, this man could make stories out of it. And within a short while, Amar Chitragatha series became so popular in India. It is always a pleasure to hear very elderly people, reputed writers, social workers, all these who are around the age of 60 plus. They all say, they were introduced into the business of Indian mythology through Amar Chitragatha. Okay. Unfortunately, we could not sustain that tradition because after that one particular generation is gone. There was no proper successors coming up for this series. So I will say that today's main challenge is to develop very good commercial artists who can do very good comic illustrations. Everything depends on them. If you have a very good comic, because the children are attracted basically to the pictures. Colorful pictures is what they want. And the colorful pictures should tell them the story. The text should be minimal. टेस्ट से कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. टेस्ट पढ़ो नहीं पढ़ो कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ा. आप पिक्चर देखते जाइए. The story actually develops in your mind. This is what a child wants. And whether it is Bhima or Arjuna or whoever it is, all these characters will come alive in their brain if you give them the right illustrations. Unfortunately, we do not seem to have given any real attention to this particular market, that you had to develop good illustrators, comic illustrators who should have continued this culture. अभी बहुत मुश्किल है. And in the world today, in the real world today, anybody who is gifted would like to earn something like 1 to 2 lakhs a month. Particular comic artist should get that sort of money, and we should not have any hesitation in giving him that, because the imported books that you are talking about, all these, we are spending much more than that. But somehow people do not seem to be thinking about this. I am very positive about this. I am sure that all our Arunachal stories could be given to children, which they lap up with all relish, provided you know how to give it to them. Make it interesting to them. There is no point in lecturing them. This is our culture, you better learn this, बेटे बोलने से कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. Culture है, अंकल agreed, but हमको ऐसे plate में दे दो जो हमको taste कर सके ना, which is to our taste. So you have to find a way to make all these things acceptable to them. There is no point in keeping on trying that they are all influenced by foreign stuff, this, that. Yes, they know how to market it, and you do not know even to produce it. So the gap is there. हमको अपने रिक्वायरमेंट के बारे में बिल्कुल चिंता आज है नहीं. वो जमाना जाना चाहिए. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट ए चिल्ड्रंस बुक मार्केट इज. उनको क्या चाहिए. किसने सीरियस रिसर्च किया इसमें? शो मी वन ऑथेंटिक बुक वेयर दे से दैट दिस इज व्हाट द चाइल्ड वांट्स. आई हैव नॉट to come across any, because I am in this field for the last 20 years, 25 years. तो मेरे ख्याल में आज तक कुछ भी नहीं है. I can tell you the names of at least 10 good artists, 10 good writers, 10 good magazines. But coming to a proper study where you are really analyzing the need of the market, the need of the children, nothing has happened seriously. So we have to first plug this gap and try to develop a real network where the storytelling has to be excellent, the illustration has to be excellent, and then the distribution of the books has to be excellent to reach the needy at the right time. And there is a big thing, because this children's market is a very funny stuff. Because how long will a child be interested in a particular book? This is a big question. Because when I said that their age group is from 10 to 15, 5 साल के बाद वो बच्चा ये देखेगा नहीं, तो क्या होता है? Whereas all other books we are talking about, we say it has eternal life. This doesn't. Unless you keep on producing fresh people who will keep on reading this. That has to be a continuous supply of readers as well. So this is a big challenge. I mean, आज के मार्केट में मैं ठीक है, मैं I'll take care of this, लेकिन 5 साल के बाद क्या होगा? All these books will become redundant. इसका मार्केट ही नहीं रहेगा. अष्टमूर्ति साहब जब वो कह रहे थे कि आजकल मार्केट नहीं है, the basic reason is that you have not tried to develop market to that level. Existing market में आपने किया, but market development also is our responsibility, which our uncle Musa is doing. Yeah.
तो सर आपने तो बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से बताया कि डूज एंड डोंट्स और क्या प्रॉब्लम्स है, इश्यूज क्या और क्या करने चाहिए. और एज ए होल सिंपल क्वेश्चन करते हैं, जब हम लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल की बात करते हैं, चाहे कहीं भी स्टेट की हो या तो इंटरनेशनल लिटरेचर की बात करती हो, फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट जो आइडिया, जो इमेजिनेशन हमारे दिमाग में आते हुए बड़े लोगों के लिए ये सीरियस बुक्स पढ़े जाएंगे, सीरियस बातें होंगी, इस तरह की बातें होती. तो इस तरह के जो लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल्स है जो चिल्ड्रन के लिए क्या कर सकते? आप सभी से अंकल मुझसे आपसे पहले पूछना चाहूँ.
This is a very very relevant and most important thing. First of all, when there is a children's section, obviously there's a possibility that the common public will get introduced, attracted to this. Now, other serious literature discussions would not attract the common people. Large part of our population, say in Arunachal or in any Indian, 60 to 70 people are rural people, middle-aged group, middle level thing. We need to give them an opportunity to get across to the thing. So, children's books must be there in every literature festival. That can attract, and that will also give rise to children coming. Obviously, it will be a very nice thing. Last year, of course, in Namsai, this is a good effort. So we hope that Arunachal Literary Festival next year will definitely have a section devoted to discussing children's literature and bringing together the writers and the children together in different places. Earlier in the first literature festival, this was done. Probably it requires more support.
अष्टमूर्ति सर, आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे इस पे?
We should promote reading for children. Actually, in Kerala, we are doing, in that direction we are doing so many things. But I still feel that print media is going back because moving pictures are more attractive for children. So, as I told you earlier, so many children magazines are closing down. We know that Chandamama, the foremost magazines in India, children magazines in India, they have already closed down their business. For promoting reading and promoting print media, government should do something, very serious actions.
Concern that you have shared right now is a very important concern. As for we people are coming from Kerala, and we have got a separate institution for this in Kerala, that is Bala Sahitya Institute, an institute for children literature. Separate institute, just like Sahitya Academy. It's a government cultural, under the cultural ministry it comes. So they print books for children, they conduct book exhibitions for children, they conduct literature festival for children.
Okay.
There is a separate wing for that in Kerala. I don't know whether it is there in Arunachal Pradesh.
No, it's not there.
Yeah.
Sir.
So, along with Arunachal Literature Festival and festivals like this, there must be a separate corner for children's literature, a separate discussion corner for them, and in which what I have to say is the children, they themselves must take initiative, no?
Yes.
How to conduct that, that particular corner, how to conduct it, how to decorate that area, leave it to them. They themselves will do it. Our experience for the past 2-3 days, here in Arunachal Pradesh is that children very active. See, there in that Arunachal Literature Festival area, children, they are taking initiative for everything. How energetic they are, how enthusiastic they are. We are really proud of them. So such corners should be there, discussions should be there, and the government also must take a bit more initiative in this matter.
Dr. Venugopalan, कुछ ऐड करना चाहेंगे?
As Dr. Mohanan and Ashtamurthy made it clear, and Musangal also was telling you, there has to be a concerted effort to popularize children's literature, for which this type of lit fest will be extremely useful. As Dr. Mohanan was bringing the point to you, the initiative has to come from children in the sense that they are not going to organize, but make them a big partners in the whole game. They should feel that it is most important, it is for them, and it is their show. That is what really matters. The moment they think that it is their show, there is a sort of ownership for the whole thing. They will do it so well. But there's have to be behind all these things, watching them, guiding them properly. Guiding them, I don't mean giving them a big lectures, but just helping them to organize things in the right way. And this has to be a separate section. Appendix of a literature festival is not going to help. You have to have a separate section along with the literature festival, of course, but it should be a standalone affair. Children's literature festival. Okay, this is what I believe. So at least in the next edition of the Arunachal Lit Fest, I would like to see that there is a chapter specifically allotted to children's literature and children's book. That's my wish.
अरुणाचल प्रदेश में रिचनेस की कोई कमी नहीं, स्टोरी, चिल्ड्रन स्टोरी की, चाहे वो फोक टेल्स हो, मिथोलॉजिकल स्टोरीज हो, कुछ भी हो. आपके ओपिनियन में किस तरह से इन्हें सर्व किया जाए कि इसका टेस्ट सभी ले सके, सभी चिल्ड्रन ले सके?
To me, there is absolutely no problem in making it popular among children of the country, the whole country. They will lap it up. The only thing is that you should know how to give it to them in the right format. For that, as I told you earlier, you have to have very good writers, in the sense those who know how to tell the story to a child. Number two is that how to illustrate for them. It is not the good old style of king queen with all sorts of ornaments and all. वो उसमें आजकल के बच्चों को बिल्कुल इंटरेस्ट नहीं है. This has to be made into a sort of picturization which appeals to them directly. So there are so many comic styles are developing. You have to study which one is more popular among children. My impression is that every style is acceptable to them if you do it in a good way. So we have to develop good illustrators.
अंकल मुझसे आपसे पूछना चाहते हैं, आप रीडिंग हैबिट को, रीडिंग मूवमेंट को आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं, पर्टिकुलरली इसमें चिल्ड्रन का पार्टिसिपेशन बहुत अच्छा है. इस तरह के और लाइब्रेरी प्रदेश के दूसरे जगहों में खोल जाए तो सिनेरियो कैसा होगा?
Yeah, this is a very, very important. First of all, a library should be in such an environment that children should feel that it is our own. हमारा ही जगह है, हमारा ही लाइब्रेरी है. तो इस तरह का, जैसे डॉक्टर वेणुगोपाल बता रहे थे ना, वो ओनरशिप उनको लगने, ये एक्चुअली हमारा कोशिश होना चाहिए. हमारे लाइब्रेरीज इस तरह का एक माहौल बना देंगे अपने में. Of course, now many of the libraries have been given a new life. District libraries are coming up in a very beautiful way. I have seen it's very beautifully done in Namsai, in Teju. तो ये एक बहुत अच्छा कदम है. गवर्नमेंट के सपोर्ट तो पूरा आ रहा है. But from our side, our community side, a few district libraries are not going to cater. Arunachal is such a scattered population. We have to have large number of NGOs dedicated to the very important area of promoting reading. क्योंकि हम लोग इंग्लिश में पढ़ रहे हैं, हिंदी में पढ़, ये दोनों भाषा हमारा ही नहीं है. So we have a very great challenge, unlike other states where they learn through mother tongue. We have to empower our children with English and Hindi. So good quality support is required outside the classroom. Classroom support will be minimal. तो अभी हम लोगों को communities, NGOs, organizations should start up small libraries. It may be groups of individuals. Like some of our libraries are not even managed by an NGO. It's a group of people. They have dedicated some time of theirs. This can be done with 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, and this is a must. We should have a large number of libraries coming up. Then Arunachali people, young people will feel that there is a place for us and we can read better. They will have the confidence that English and Hindi can become a good language. Not a few university students, but en masse at the grassroots level we have to develop. For this, libraries will play a very good role.
बात करना चाहते हैं बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट चीज की, वो है मनी मैटर्स. सर, चिल्ड्रन लिटरेचर की भी बात करते हैं, इसकी पब्लिकेशंस हो या तो कुछ फिल्म बनानी हो, एनिमेशन बनानी हो. Does money matter?
Yes. Money matters a lot because somebody has to put in the money to do all these things. I am 100% certain that that will pay back in different type of, money will come back. No question on that. But along with that, you are going to be getting, or rather you are assured of a responsible, morally strong, good citizens of this country. That's a big investment. So the government should invest in that and spend money to develop.
जब चिल्ड्रन मैगजीन्स की बात करते हैं तो अभी जो मेरे दिमाग में जो आ रहा है, जैसे चंदा मामा हुआ या तो टिंकल्स हुए या तो हमारे जमाने में कॉमिक्स पढ़ते थे. सो उसी तरह आप एक मैगजीन चलाते हैं और उसके बारे में जानना चाहेंगे और किस तरह से चिल्ड्रन लिटरेचर को प्रमोट कर रहे हैं.
I'll talk only about Dimdima, but yes, that is one thing I am directly handling. I am the publisher for that. So, and I have an experience of the last 15 years running this magazine. It is accepted as a very good magazine throughout the country. And we are not selling it in the stalls. This is subscribed because that is done as a definite idea. That is, I don't want people to come and buy it from the stalls. The parents should make it a point to spend money and subscribe for this. For the whole year, my son or daughter must read this and he has to pay for this. But one very unfortunate thing I am seeing is that costs, even in today's situation, 1 year's subscription is 350 rupees. The principals are telling me that many of the parents refuse to pay that. You understand this?
Yes.
Whereas the same parent will take the child to a restaurant nearby and on the same day he will be spending 1,000 rupees or 1,500 rupees just to give him some faluda and all those things. How bad it is. I don't know how to educate these parents. I can handle children very well. There's no problem. But educating the parents seems to be the most difficult part of this game. Because they don't give any value to the reading of this sort of things. They think that reading means only textbooks. Because ultimately what is important to them is getting the score in the final exam. They don't realize that those children who are reading, they get the best score. Who will teach them? Who will tell them? This is my dilemma really. Because I cannot take up the responsibility of educating the parents anyway. Because we are having our hands full with making it good for the children. So I'll request people like Uncle Musa to take up this on a NGO level and educate the parents and tell them that invest in reading material for your children, and that is actually investing in their future, their good future, and making them responsible, good human beings and citizens of this country.
फाइनली आप चारों से ही पूछना चाहते हैं कि सिर्फ पेरेंट्स ही नहीं, सोसाइटी की, कम्युनिटी की, या तो ब्रदर्स व रिलेटिव्स, उनका क्या कंट्रीब्यूशन होना चाहिए ताकि ये चिल्ड्रन लिटरेचर की ओर ज्यादा झुकाव हो?
It's a collective responsibility of each and every citizen. And as we believe, everyone can help another person to read and enjoy. So if I can do my little bit of it nicely, I am sure that it will motivate a few other more to do their bit. So all that is a part of every citizen, and especially as we talk about Arunachal, I say it's a duty of every educated Arunachali to do something for the children around him.
I'll come to a point which was always in my mind. See, during the birthdays of children, we have a craze of giving them different gifts, going them and giving all sorts of toys or whatever. It's all good. But don't you think that it would have been much more sensible if even a related or distant uncle or brother or cousin or whoever gives them one subscription of a good magazine for 1 year? Can't we make this a motto? Make the word spread. Please don't, you give any gift, that's different. But for every birthday of your dear ones, make it a point to buy at least one subscription for a very good children's magazine for the child. So if this is done, I think the children's magazine market will be totally different. I'll request Uncle Musa and like-minded people to help me in this campaign.
अष्टमूर्ति सर, आप कुछ ऐड कीजिए.
But actually, most of the parents are they are promoting and inspiring children for reading. But unfortunately, they are not. Children are not taking effort to read. That's my opinion. Mm-hmm. From parents' part, they are doing very much.
Besides parents, what should we do? Other people, community do so that these children would be influenced or attracted towards children's literature?
It should be a collective effort from the government and the people to promote, to inspire the children to read.
Side by side with imagination, side by side with fantasies, a scientific temper also should be there. They are not mutually contradictory. One is complementary to the other thing, Imagination and logical thinking, that is scientific temper. These are two complementary things. So all sections of society are very important in promoting children literature, because children are the capital of tomorrow. That is our corpus fund for tomorrow, So they all people have got a right to, or a responsibility to promote children's literature, children's imagination, children's world of thinking. That as you said, that is very important.
आप चारों हमारे स्टूडियो में आए और चिल्ड्रंस लिटरेचर के बारे में इतनी सारी जानकारियां दी, इसके लिए आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Many thanks. Many thanks. We are very happy that we could come and discuss some of these important issues for the listeners of AR Itanagar.
ये आकाशवाणी का ईटानगर केंद्र और अरुण FM 103.1 मेगाहर्ट्ज है। अभी आप सुन रहे थे एक विशेष कार्यक्रम। इस कार्यक्रम के तहत हम चर्चा कर रहे थे बाल साहित्य के महत्व यानी इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ चिल्ड्रंस लिटरेचर के बारे में, और इसके लिए हमारे स्टूडियो में उपस्थित थे लोहित यूथ लाइब्रेरी नेटवर्क तेजू के कोऑर्डिनेटर पद्मश्री सत्यनारायणन मुंडायूर, जिन्हें हम अंकल मुसा के नाम से जानते हैं, भाभा एटॉमिक रिसर्च सेंटर मुंबई के रिटायर्ड सीनियर साइंटिस्ट कम पब्लिशर ऑफ चिल्ड्रंस मैगजीन डिमडिमा के डॉक्टर वेणुगोपालन ए। साथ ही थे लिटरेरी क्रिटिक श्री KP मोहनन और शॉर्ट स्टोरी राइटर श्री KV अष्टमूर्ति। हम फिर हाजिर होंगे ऐसे ही कुछ रोचक और ज्ञानवर्धक कार्यक्रम के साथ। तब तक के लिए दीजिए इजाजत। नमस्कार।